Good morning. Good morning. It's Nathan, your host, with News with Nathan. I'm using my reporter voice. not that it's working well. Hey, oh, how do I stop that background sound? There we go. All right. Good morning. Yes, today is Friday, July 10th, and I got some exciting news. Hey, you know what's also it's TGIF, and that's always exciting, right? What do you got planned this weekend? What are you doing this weekend? What's happening for you? Just was it yesterday? Yesterday morning, I went on a walking and talking tour with some friends here locally, and let me tell you, I thought I knew every. I think I told you this yesterday. I thought I knew every nook and cranny here on the island, but pleasantly enough, I've been surprised every time. So, very very good times. Plan on going back there to this park and sharing. I'll share some of these experiences that I've done over the time. But hey, if you're here and you're new, or you're here and you've been here before, let me know. Say hello in the comment section. That way I can greet you and welcome you to the news show. Should I put on a tie for these things? I always feel like, these broadcasters, these news anchors are always like dressed up. But no, that's not the kind of news we do around here. But here's the thing. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about funding. Fridays in my life have been kind of geared towards funding. If you didn't know already, that funding on I have a cash flow show with my good friend Dave Seymour, and that's at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do it every Friday, and we talk about funding. So my buddy Dave has started a $100 million fund, and for very specific stuff. We're actually going to be talking about that today, the specifics of his fund. So if you want to come back and join on at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, you can do that, and we'll talk more about his fund. But today, I want to talk about funds in a different way for single family housing, short term, long term transactional funding, from transactional, short term, and long term funding on my end. So, in case you didn't know, I should probably, the best way to do this right now is probably to do something like this. If you are in real estate, right? Which I'm gonna take it you either have interest or are already in interest or already doing real estate. I want you to go to this website here. 1 second, because I'm typing it out live, right? Let me do this. I'm going to put that on there, and I'm going to, let's make it, oops, there we go. Let's make it green, right? Because we're talking about money, right? Money is usually green, at least in most places. Okay, so here, there we go. We got a scrolling ticker there. All right. That's a little fast, though. Let me slow this thing down. There we go. Okay. So if you go to this website here on the screen called maccapitalfunding.com, okay, maccapitalfunding.com. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that website. If you probably, maybe if you've been following along over on our YouTube channel or in our community, in our group, I recently made an announcement that I have about $500,000 that I need to get back on the street. However, um, now it's down to 300,000. So I want to talk a little about funding and what opportunities there are if you're thinking about it, or if you're considering one of my companies, maccapitalfunding.com. You can go there. There's a form on there that you can fill out. It doesn't matter if you're doing short-term transactional funding, or short-term, maybe a month, or you need a short-term for something, some kind of unique transaction, or short-term private funding, or also hard money lending. If you're not familiar with hard money lending, I could do a little skit on that. And basically, we also offer hard money. So if you're currently working in two sectors, such as land or single family housing, I need to deploy these funds as quickly as possible. I pretty much like to get it back on the street by the end of the month. So if you're working with land or single family housing, what you can do is let me know. Go to that website that's scrolling at the bottom, and then I will be able to. You're going to fill out the form, and then we can work together one on one. I can help you fund those deals. Now, typically, we like to keep an estimated around up to $1 million on the street, as we like to say. Um, but right now with the funds, I know I recently announced 500,000. We're now down to 300,000. So if you're looking for funds for your transaction, you can let me know through that website. Don't post stuff on here, or don't throw comments in here. Hey, it's I'm not gonna like have long conversations in a comment thread about the deal that you're working on. Does that make sense? Or the funds you're looking for. So go to that website and I can help you out there. Let me tell you a little bit about some recent client successes. We just funded a deal. How much was that? I think it was $52,000. I can't remember off the top of my head. I could probably go pull up these records, but let's just say it was a little over $50,000. We funded a deal, and the process took about almost 3 weeks. We were really flexible with the borrower, but we made it happen. It was a unique situation. We made the deal happen. I can't remember exactly the numbers the borrower made off the top of my head. I think it was over $10,000 in profit. I just don't know exactly. Have another deal coming up here, 40-ish or $42,000, and clients probably going to be making, you know, like sometimes I should just have this information in front of me, right? It's just easier that way, you know. Um, well, you know what it is. I wasn't prepared. That's the truth of it. I wasn't prepared. I guess I didn't expect to do some breakdowns live, but I will. Okay, yeah. So 43,000, and there's probably going to be, if I do an estimate, let's see here, minus 43. Yeah, over $20,000 profit for that client. So I'm just sharing a few results of some of my borrowers who borrow the funds and they're able to make profits. So here's the thing. I just got this question asked of me yesterday in a chat, like a group. And they asked me, Nathan, will you fund deals lower than $10,000? And I said, yeah, sure. Actually, I fund a lot of deals. Now, this was a land deal. If you're wondering, like, well, how can you buy a house for less than $10,000, Nate? Well, this was typically a land deal. I funded over 300 land deals in the past, I don't know, 2 years or so. Um, yeah, I don't know exact dates off the top of my head, but I funded a bunch of land deals, and so that was particularly if you have a deal, I want to say no deal is too small. I remember I had a borrower who needed a loan. I think it was for $4,000. Or it was either 2,000. I can't remember if I think he made 4,000 on profit on the deal, or the loan was for 2,000, the loan was for 4,000. Either way, I can't remember if they made $2,000 profit or $4,000 profit. Anyway, it was below $5,000. So if you need funding for your deal that's even below $5,000, that's okay, right? Even if you have the change but don't want to use it, well, I mean, if it's that low, might as well. But I mean, the reality is, even if you are stuck and you're strapped for cash, maybe you just paid off a bunch of debt or whatever you're trying to do. The reality is, if you need funds for your business, you can go to that website, fill out the form, and then let me know. Okay, and I will get to you on a first come first come. What is it? First come first serve. It's only Friday. I was like, I don't even know what's going on. Goodness. All right. So yeah. So today's main topic is about funding. Um, what? What? Elisha. All right. Let me check it out now. I'm telling you, it's Friday, man. Hold on. Now you got me second guessing. Really? Oh, Wait a second. Hold on a second. There's nothing like doing it. Okay, so correct. You have to type in www. Sorry guys. In case you're actually I actually don't like the www in front of websites anymore. Like I really don't write out my websites like that. Even on like any type of marketing or anything, I typically just leave it out. But here's the thing, for the website to work, you have to type in the dubs. All right. Just so you're aware of that, because Elisha was telling me the site is not showing a thing. It's horrible. It's horrible. Let me call the IT guy. The IT guy. Where are you? Can you please fix this website? Thank you. All right. It's fine. It's all set. Just go to dub. Who's in the tub? MattCapitalFunding.com. I could really use some chocolate right now. I could really use some chocolate because it's that time of the day. And I know most of you guys are probably thinking, like, what are you talking about? I haven't even had my cup of coffee yet, right? That's probably what you're thinking. I need some coffee. Let's talk about some news. Interesting enough, I was looking at some of the hottest markets in the United States. You know what the hottest market in the United States right now is? Take a guess. I'm going to come back to this question, but just post the hottest market. It's a city. It's a city. Without looking it up, without going to Google's, go post it in the comments. What city do you think is the hottest market right now in I'm referring to the United States. I know we got people from all over. Elisha's probably going to say Kampala, right? Or something like that, you know. So it's good to it's interesting to have a global audience. I'll tell you that. However, I do have to be mindful that sometimes I make a comment and I'm not thinking about everybody else. Yes. Thank you, Elisha. I appreciate that. It does work at that. So, do you know what the hottest real estate market is in the United States? Okay. So, I'm also going to ask the same question. Do you know what the hottest real estate market is in the world, right now? So, please share what you think it is in the comments below. So, I wasn't surprised at the world, where the hottest market in the world is. I wasn't surprised. But I was surprised by the hottest city in the United States. I was like, really? What's going on over there? Now, I haven't done my due diligence on what the hottest market is in the United States and why it is. But I will tell you this. When governments make a market easy to do business in, when there's low taxes, when there is incentives for corporations to move in to the marketplace, okay? When there's tax incentives, tax exemptions, tax initiative for a corporation to move into that area, okay? Let me give you an example. You probably heard recently in the past year or so that Amazon was looking for a new headquarters, right? You might have heard that in the news. What was happening during that time is Amazon's real estate development team, logistics team, is they go around looking for not just greener pastures, not just where can we find 200 acres? That's not the way it works. If that was the case, they would build all their plants in the center of the United States, right? I mean, think about it. All their fulfillment warehouses. That's not the case. Yes, logistically, they care about 2-day shipping or 2-hour delivery, right? All those things make an important part. More importantly, on a deeper real estate level, the reason why they're not building a warehouse right down the street from you, unless you live right next to one, is because they look for tax incentives from the local government, from the local jurisdiction, where it could be the county, could be the city, okay? Normally, these incentives come from counties, where they create the incentive for a company to move in by giving them tax exemptions. What's the good thing about this? Well, it increases job growth. Everything really revolves around job growth. So when you're looking at markets and where to invest and what's a hot market and what's not a hot market, a lot of the things are impacted. A lot of the stats are impacted through the job market, economically, through the job market. If it's a booming area, then people will be flocking there because of jobs, right? So the incentives are created, businesses move in, and then jobs are created and people will flock to those areas because of the jobs. And then after that, all the service providers show up: restaurants, grocery stores, so on and so forth. Now, this isn't a show today about that, but in the details of that. But my point that I'm getting at here is, do you know what the hottest market is? No one has posted a comment yet, but if you don't know, I'll share with you right now. So the hottest market right now in the United States is Boise, Idaho. And I was shocked. I was shocked when I heard that. I was like, what? Really? Boise, Idaho? What's going on there? What's going on in Boise? No idea. I personally don't know. I've actually never done deals in Boise, in Idaho at all. I know it's, I hear it's very beautiful. I have quite a few friends that have lived or live there, but I've never been there. It's one of the states I haven't been to, and I've been to almost all of the United States. I'm missing like I think five, and they're all on the northern part of the country. And Boise, Idaho is a poppin' one. It tends to be explosive growth. Now, in the world, the most attractive and hottest real estate market right now, it used to be Hong Kong. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it used to be Hong Kong. Currently, it's Singapore. Singapore is not only attracting business owners and businesses, large corporations, it's also attracting celebrities, artists, athletes. And that's because of incentives, right? Incentives. And also, I mean, Singapore is one of the Asian countries that really um, are really like progressive, right? They're like, remember I talked about yesterday how I feel like the West is 10 years behind everything? Well, everything on the Eastern hemisphere is a lot more ahead, a lot more progressive, faster. Things are happening a lot faster. So they are, and I know for real estate as well as business corporations, they actually offer a lot of great incentives for business startup. There's a lot of incentives, and a lot of incentives of that mean you don't need to have a citizenship. You don't need there's certain visas, right? So they offer a lot of incentives, and that's what makes it attractive for not only businesses but people, right? To relocate there. I remember when I was leaving Charlotte, North Carolina, the stats were coming out. This was back in 2013. The stats were coming out that 42 people a day, 40 between 40 and 42 people a day were moving into Charlotte, North Carolina. That booming. That's booming stats. If you heard anything higher, typically anything over, I think it's 30, 35. They have certain analysts have certain stats and markers that they use for booming markets. And when you hear those kind of numbers moving into a city, that's a lot of people. I mean, you calculate that per week, per month. It's like, where are you going to put all these people, right? Right. That's why there's a lot of explosive growth in that market. So those are the stats that can learn that can help you identify what's going on. In speaking of North Carolina, um, they have a great mayor that's in. I don't want to speak. I say great mayor, but I don't want to speak on behalf of anything related to COVID or anything like that. But in regards to business, their master plan for the past 10 years has been all business focused. Probably more than 10 years. It's probably a good, yeah, it's probably more than 10 years now. It's got to be 20 because I was there back in 2010 and they were already on their way up. So it's probably they're on their 20-year master plan. It's been a booming market, and they've been, I think personally, they've been, increasing faster than Raleigh, North Carolina, in my opinion, from what I've seen. So that's great. So those are the things that are happening, and those are the two hottest. Well, that is the hottest market in the United States right now. And then which, by the way, I have no information why Boise, Idaho is, but I'm gonna give you a good estimate that it has to do with job growth. Okay. But I could find out. I just actually heard that this morning when I was listening to some real estate news. Not this channel, not this real estate news, but I was listening to some real estate news and market trends and what's happening. Boise, I was like, Boise? Like, I know Idaho's great, but Boise? What's up in Boise? So that's happening there. And then I've known that the Singapore market, because I've actually looked personally, I looked last year, 2019, probably around this time, maybe February of 2019. I looked into setting up a new company in Singapore. And I've looked at real estate in Singapore, and I knew they were the horizon. So they're still holding strong. So hey, you never know. Maybe if you ever been to Singapore, let me know. By the way, if you're a friend of mine and you have been to Singapore, let me know. I'd love to connect with you and share stories. Like you share your stories with me. I got questions, so we can talk about that. Lastly, okay, last news of the day. Last news of the day. A few week ago, I did a post on Facebook that said um, something along the. I could pull it up, but it basically was stating that. Let me pull it up. It's easier if I read it rather than go off the top of my head. And that was basically I was looking for 5 people who wants to pay off their credit cards early. There's a proven method that I was willing to share, and I've been looking on. I've been working on and simply looking for a few others that want to share their progress and results along the way. And I asked people to send me direct messages. Got a few comments, but got a boatload of direct messages, which was the intent. However, we filled up those 5 spots in a matter of a day, and now we have a what do they call it? A wait list. Okay, I had to initiate a wait list for the next group. Okay, so I'm going, and that wait list already has 8 people on it. Okay, so here's the thing: don't if you're interested in that, and even though the 5 people are already on board and ready, we'll be launching, helping people pay off their credit card debt or debt, whether it's credit cards or student loans, stuff like that. If you're still interested in that, what I encourage you to do is send me a direct message on Facebook, because I actually posted this on Facebook. Or if you're watching over on YouTube, you would have to just leave me maybe get to my website or something like that. You'd have to seek me out and let me know if you want to do this. And then I'll give you the details and we'll go from there. I do want to let you know, because I did have some questions come in about this. They said, well, I feel uncomfortable. How is this format going to be? And I basically said, well, it's in a private group setting and all your information is private in that group setting. Everybody involved, like these group of 5 people, will be sharing their private financial information. So if they're sharing a balance on their card of however much money of $800,000 on their credit card, then that would be private within the group. Okay, so that's what that's what it would entail, and we have some details about that, and I'll share that. So if you are interested, have no fear. You can get on the wait list and get in the next round, which is about to start here very, very soon. So, all right. So that's the news for today. And by the way, if you do catch this on the replay, let me know what market you think, or if you have been to Singapore, or let me know what markets you think are buzzing. If you hear about any other markets that are buzzing in your side of the town or in your state, would love to know. All right, guys. I'll see you on Monday. Not on tomorrow. No, no, no. No news on Saturday. I'll see you on Monday. Have a great and fantastic weekend. And don't forget, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, Dave and I will be doing the Cash Flow Show, talking more about funding on a larger scale for accredited investors on a $100 million fund. See you then.